Hello, and welcome to this week's Soul Wisdom training, which is all about motivation and how motivation alone is really not going to keep you going long term and what else you need. So I'm going to be sharing some tips and tools as I do every week on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. around how you can create a thriving business that you absolutely love. So if you can hear me, if you're watching, a couple of people have just joined, just give me a wave, give me a heart, just let me post in the comments that you can hear me, and just let me know. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Natasha Harris. I work with the Akashic Records and the wonders of the Akashic Records to really supporting people to tap into the wonders of them, the ancient wisdom of them, and to really help them remove the obstacles, the energetic obstacles that have been standing in our way to keeping us playing it small, safe, and also keeping us stuck, so that we can really open the doors of potentiality and keep us moving forwards in a great way. So I can see a few people joining. Lovely. Just give me a hi, Monica, just so I know. So really, we have an exciting vantage point from where we can really rewrite the script with the Akashic Records, so that we can step further into our business and what we're doing, committing to it, and step into being soul leaders that really are needed in the world right now, so that we can have a thriving business that not only supports you financially, but also supports the planet. So this is what all this is about. So if you're called to be a soul leader, then you're absolutely in the right place. You want to make a difference in the world. So I can hi to Amina as well. Just let me know that you can hear me. Just type that you can hear me in the chat box so that I know. And I will, so Monica is with Krista. Hi, Krista. Lovely to see you both here. So do ask questions as we go through the training today, and I will be sure to answer them. Keep an eye on the chat box. If you're watching the recording, then please do post questions. I will come back and look at it. If you're watching it through another means, then do email me or send me some questions, and I'd be very happy to answer those too. So why motivation alone isn't going to really help us keep us going every day when we wake up is really the key. And this is something that has been coming up quite a bit with some of my clients in the last few weeks. So I thought it was a really important thing, because I know if it's resonated with a few of my clients, it will absolutely be resonating with some of you watching this today, or at some point in the future when you'll really need to hear it. So what I've really realized is that, motivation can feel like really hard work. We're sometimes motivated, we sometimes have it, sometimes we really don't. And then when we don't, it's like, well, we don't know what to do and where to go. So really, I don't know if that's something that you feel also is the same, that motivation, hi, Anna. Let me know if motivation is something you struggle with. Like some days you'll just have it, you'll feel hugely motivated, you'll get loads of stuff done. And then at other times you're like, you've got no motivation, you don't know how to get through the day and to get the stuff done that you need. Let me know if that's something that you struggle with as well. So what I've really realized is that actually it's less about motivation and more about commitment. Now, those two things are very similar, but they're not quite the same energetically. And so motivation is this push, this drive that we feel we need to have to accomplish something, but our commitment is this energy of force that keeps us going even when we don't have or feel that motivation. Sometimes we do need to rest, and we need to take our foot off the accelerator a bit, and we need to slow down, and that's all fine. But it's the commitment to things, especially in the early days of our business, that we really need to figure out what it is we're committed to, what is not going to get in the way of us carrying on, what is going to keep us going, whatever shows up for us. And so for me, at the very early days of my business, I got very clear on what I was committed to. And this is what today is all about. It's really understanding what it is you're committed to, because it's going to be different for most of us. maybe similar threads that run through for people, but it will be different for many of us. And so when in the early days, when I was really, I was struggling a little bit, and sometimes quite a lot, and I had post-it notes all around my flat, because when I was struggling with motivation, sitting behind a computer, doing some marketing, doing things that made me feel really quite uncomfortable, that I wasn't used to doing, I would then go and make a cup of tea, and there would be a post-it note by my kettle that reminded me why I was doing this. And, those are the things that really kept me going. And I had quite a few of them around my house, and I probably mentioned this in other trainings, but people would come around for a cup of tea or pop in and say hello, and then they'd be like, oh, reading my post-it notes, and I'd be like, oh, okay, this is really interesting. But this is about commitment to keeping going, keeping moving forward, being committed to the mission that you know that you want to create the change in the world. Hi, Hayley, I can see you've just joined as well. Really understanding what our commitment is to the change that we want to make in the world. Commitment to growing personally, professionally, but also spiritually, and keeping moving on that path. Understanding what's going to keep us inspired and moving forwards. Commitment for me is also about being committed to, getting rid of these old ways of doing things, knowing that they really no longer work, and committing to showing people a different way of doing things and how they can show up differently in their business and in their lives as well. My commitment is to humanity, to the planet, to doing, making a change. We cannot carry on the way we're going. And so for me, my commitment to doing this work is to helping and supporting people who feel passionately about that as well, that knowing that the same old ways of doing things is not going to work and is not going to continue to work. I'm also committed to abundance, and knowing that we all are able to have abundance and support, have that support of abundance for ourselves. And I call it soul wealth abundance, because abundance isn't just available for the few. Abundance is available to all of us. We need to just get aligned to it, and we need to know what that abundance is for us. Health and well-being, and abundance in health and well-being, abundance in our relationships, either romantically or with family and friendships, but also an abundance through wealth and money. And we've touched on this a little bit in past trainings, but I am going to do a bigger piece about the money very, very soon, because it's really important. So what is it that you're committed to? Yeah, type in the chat box, what are you committed to? Because this is really key to you understanding and to allowing yourselves to know what this is, to keep you going when motivation is running a bit thin. So do just let me know in the chat box what you're committed to going forward, because commitment is exciting. Motivation can be hard work sometimes, but commitment to something can be exciting. It's like we know we're making steps, we're making progress on our commitment to create change for ourselves, for the planet, for others, however that shows up. We're getting closer. We're not there yet, but we keep expanding and growing and knowing what that is. So I hope this is making sense for you guys, but let me know what it is you're committed to. So what are you committed to? Let me know. And one of the things, so really it's about getting clearer on that. So the things that I want to leave you with today in terms of what you can go away and do, because for me it's all about the action and how we can show up differently, is getting really clear on your why, understanding what really drives you, because that's what's going to be so much more important. I know I've said that quite a few times. What will you not shut up about? Like, what is that? Why is it that you're doing what you're doing? Like when people are talking about certain things at a dinner party, what are you not going to shut up about? What are you committed to, like, really piping up about when you're not usually the one that kind of stands up and says, well, I think you're wrong, or actually I believe this? What are those things that you're going to really stand up for in life? Hayley says, I'm committed to creating and presenting enlightened television to awaken the heart and soul. It's a big one. I love that. That's great, because this is the big medium that we can really reach people through, presenting to people through television. We all love we all love our TVs. We can watch it online now. We don't even need a TV if we don't have one at home. But, you know, being committed to creating and presenting enlightened TV, I mean, that's a huge commitment. And that is the thing, that when you remind yourself of that every single morning when you wake up, motivation or no motivation, you're going to keep going. Yeah. So what else are people committed to? So really getting clear on what your why is. Why are you doing that? And that's a question that you can really ask yourself. Why am I getting up every morning doing this work in my business? What is my big why? Because when you know that, things start to change. And when you're committed to something, you are going to find the confidence to speak up about it. You are going to find the confidence to not be quiet about it, because that's what the world needs. That's what your potential clients, your potential, you know, your business needs. The people that you want to bring into your business, they need to hear what you're committed to. They absolutely need to hear that. They don't need to know that you've got oodles of motivation to keep going and they want to hear your commitment to change, to creating difference in people's lives. So just going to check to see what other people. Marcel says, I'm committed to helping people to overcome their anxieties over food. Yeah, that's a big one, because we are getting so many mixed messages about food. And Marcel, I know you're amazing at doing that. You know, it's such a big topic. The food we eat is just the energy we're putting inside us. That's how we, you know, the energy that we give off as well. So it's a huge thing. So that's an amazing thing to be committed to. And reminding yourself of that when your motivation is up and fluxing and down a little bit is going to really help you. Amina says, I don't shut up about how we need more equality in the world and the need for humans to respect the planet and each other. I so get that. That's so true. It's such an important thing for me as well. It's like, if we don't have a planet, we don't have a future, and our future generations don't have a future. So we can do all the things that we want to do, but if we're not taking care and respecting each other and the world that we live in, then, you know, yeah, and that's a huge commitment to have, and one that is going to keep you going, Amina, in your beautiful, you know, in your business that I know is also protecting the environment. It's all about products that are kind to the environment and kind to us, so we're respecting ourselves as well. So yeah, some great commitments. So reminding yourself, getting a post-it note about what it is that you're committed to, and reminding yourself that daily. So I love these commitments that you're coming up with, because again, they're so different, right? But they all have a very similar thread. It's about creating change for others, which is fantastic. So if you have any other commitments that you want to share, you know, now's your time to really talk about them, to really be committed to it, and share it with others, because this is, you know, a great group where we all share some of the same things. So the second thing that I really want to encourage you to be committed to is the willingness to change and get uncomfortable. It's a big one. It's this willingness to commit to growing, learning about ourselves professionally, personally, because nothing is in isolation. So if we're not working and learning and growing in our personal lives, in our relationships with our partners, with our family, that is going to affect how we show up in our business as well. Then they are so interlinked, and it is so true. And as we learn and grow about ourselves, we're growing personally, we're growing spiritually, we're understanding more about ourselves and how the world works. And so I really want you to lean into this idea that actually your commitment as well is not only to your business, but it's to you. It's about you. It's not about only supporting others. It's about you and how you show up and how you're looking after yourself and your own growth in that. And that's going to get uncomfortable. And when we commit to being uncomfortable, then everything can change for ourselves, because then it's not quite so uncomfortable. And that's the work I do with my clients as well. So a couple of you guys will resonate with that. Always encouraging people to get uncomfortable, and in a safe space, in a really safe environment that feels safe to do that. So really being committed to that, to creating that change. And then the third thing that I really feel is the thing that we really also need to commit to is taking action. And it's aligned action to where you want to go. So if you know what it is that you're committed to, what you're not willing to shut up about, then you will be so much clearer about the action that you need to take that is heading you in that direction. Because without knowing your why, we're kind of taking a little bit haphazard action. We're taking action because we feel that if we're taking action, we're keeping busy and we're doing something and we're accomplishing stuff. But random action is going to get random results. Okay, so it's really about not only just committing to taking action, but taking aligned action with where we want to go. And in order to do that, you need to get really, really clear on what is your passion, what is your motivation, what are you committed to creating change around in the world and for your business and for your clients. So I'm gonna if anyone's got any questions, then let me know. Post some questions in the chat. Ask me some questions about some of those actions on how to get clear, like the willingness to change and taking action. I'd be delighted to answer them before we kind of come off the training. But those are the three things that I want you to really go away from today and really get some clarity around your commitment in those areas, okay? It is going to set you 10 paces ahead of yourself where you are. And if you've done some of this work already, you know, look at your why again. Be clear if that hasn't changed at all, if that hasn't expanded and grown since you last looked at it. Because my commitment to what I'm committed to is expanding and growing every kind of 6 to 8 months as I'm growing my business. So yeah, so let me know if you've got any questions. Amina says, thank you. Yes, your Akashic reading really helped with that alignment, because it really does. It really allows us to clear those energetic blocks that we're not really conscious of, we're kind of aware of, and really set a kind of a level grounding to take new action so we can understand what that aligned action is. And it really does help us understand who we are at soul level so that we know what our gifts are and how we can show up in the world to our greatest strengths. And that's the beauty of the Akashic Record. So thank you for that, Amina. So take some time to understand what your why is. Promise yourself every day when you get up that you're committed to it and that you're going to keep learning and growing. If you've got any other questions, or if any of this resonates in a different way, then please do reach out and get in touch. You can email me at natasha@mindbodysoulenergy.co.uk. Ask me any questions. I'm always delighted to answer them. And if you're interested in the Akashic Records and how they can help with you to moving forwards and aligning more to your purpose in your business, then do get in touch and we can have a conversation about that. But I do hope you found that useful. Hope you found that helpful. And I'm going to just stay on here for a little bit longer, for another 30 seconds or so, to see if any other questions pop up, because I know there's sometimes a little bit of a delay. So Anna says she's not sure what her commitment is. She's a bit confused. Okay, so that's great to acknowledge and to really recognize. So what I suggest you really do, Anna, is to go away and ask yourself the questions of what is it that you no longer want to keep quiet about? What is it that you are committed to creating change for yourself, for others, for the planet, for the wider good cause? Like, ask yourself those questions. If you're a meditator, sit and meditate on that and see what comes up for you. Or if you love writing, ask yourself those kind of questions and just start writing. Like, what are the ideas that come up for you? What are you committed to every day? Okay, because the answers will come to you. They are different for everyone, Anna. So there's no right and wrong for any of this, I promise you. It's really about understanding and getting committed to that for yourself. So I hope that that's given you some tips and ideas. Good, okay, for that, because it really is, it's going to help you so much if you're running a business, Anna. I think you are um, into creating that in a very, very different way and showing up in a very, very different way. If other questions come for you, Anna, then just email me or post it here in the thread. I'd be delighted to answer them, because I really do believe that together we learn and grow. So every question is valid and important, and someone else will absolutely benefit from that. So great question. You're so welcome, Anna. It's been delightful to answer that question for you. So thank you for bringing it up, because yeah, it can feel a bit confusing and a little bit overwhelming at times as well. So just breaking it down, keeping it really simple, remembering we don't have to have the full picture of it. It's not about getting it perfect. It's about having something to start us off with. And once we get committed to that, it'll expand and grow with us as we commit to expanding and growing for ourselves. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you everybody for joining me. It's been great to have you. Thank you for your comments and your questions. It's always a delight to share these things. So I will see you again for next week's Soul Wisdom training, same time, same place, 4 p.m. every Wednesday, and I'll see you then. Bye.